there was nothing better than the Sunset Strip in the 80s and 90s. That's LA, that's Hollywood. And directly from that era, we are taking the time machine, and we're bringing Al Bowman, the limo man, to Memorabilia Expert to talk about some of his pieces that he collected through those amazing times.
This guitar was a prototype made in 1983, was later mass produced, and was demoed by Kerry King from Slayer, who at the time was only a band for a few years. This is a lot from Poison. You have Ricky Rocket's original laminate from their first big tour with Quiet Riot and Keel, and Bret Michaels' personal song notebook, along with C.C. DeVille's award from Canada, and the original poster for Look What the Cat Dragged In, which drove all the traffic people call 1-800-DIAL-MTV.
Al, how the heck did you get Poison's lyrics?
I was lucky enough to be their tour manager on that first tour in the summer of 1986 with Quiet Riot and Keel, when Poison was third bill to them.
Wow, that's, you know what, you can't capture that moment in time again.
True.
I mean, it's so different today, but when we get these types of collectibles, it can bring us back. And if you actually lived and survived, Al, we both survived that era.
What a time that was.
These are just wonderful, wonderful historic items that you'll never get anywhere else. And I think these are the only ones that exist.
That's right.
Except for these awards that were given actually to the musicians and artists.
Yeah, this one, especially from Canada, a gold cassette. We don't see cassettes anymore, so this is very, very collectible. You'll never find another one with the actual name of C.C. DeVille on it. And this was a follow-up to their previous album, which was also sold 5 million copies.
Now you had how many award shows?
Well, I had 25 award shows in LA and 5 here in Las Vegas.
And I can't believe that you lasted that long.
Yeah.
I'm going to come over to the next case over here. And each of these awards were very special and very specific for each of the years.
Right.
Each year had like a totally different award, and I know you were completely exhausted because I know you were making these personally.
Some of them. Some of them.
Right. Okay. And but I wanted to talk about the hat, and I think that Gazzarri's. Right, Gazzarri's, I think, still without a doubt, is probably the most famous places that all these bands got their start.
Well, I'm one of the administrators on the Facebook page for the Gazzarri's group, and there are, he showcased over 10,000 bands. If you look back at history, Gazzarri's was open from 1960 to 1992. And today, the average life expectancy of a Hollywood club is maybe a couple of weeks. So he lasted 32 years. Think about that.
And 32 years wearing the hat. Okay, he was wearing this hat. This hat is so iconic.
It is very significant. Without the hat, there would be no Los Angeles Music Awards, because 3 days before his death, Bill gave me his hat and crowned me the godson of rock and roll. And he told me, and I'm using his own words, do the award show, because if you don't do it, no one else will. And if you do it, you got to do it for the rest of your life. And I followed it.
And you know what? Just like Gazzarri's was open for that many years, you hung on yourself.
30 years.
It was not easy. It was not easy doing that.
Oh, it was brutal. But Hollywood is just a brutal fight for survival. Never ends.
Speaking of brutal fight for survival, I hate to say that, but Phil Spector.
Oh boy,
Phil Spector was one.
What a guy! What a generous, decent human being, and my honest opinion, he didn't kill that girl. But that being what it is, he did donate some of his prize stuff for our auction in 1999 at the House of Blues, benefiting the Friend of Mine Foundation from Columbine High School. How's that for irony? A gun crime.
That's absolutely amazing. And we actually have this here. You can come on down to Memorabilia Expert in Las Vegas. Hey, you can fly here. We are open. And or just check it out online at memorabilia.expert. You can look at the auction for October 24th or put in Phil Spector. And you'll see all of these come from him right now.
And every one of them's got a story behind it, because Phil was in the middle of all these careers in the heyday of the Beatles' success years. So Phil was either around the studio, in the studio, he was either co-engineer, hanging around with other groups that he was producing, but Phil was always present, and these came from his personal collection, and they went unsold in 1999, and we've had them all that time. I think the greatest one you got here is this Led Zeppelin 1, because the studio, Olympic Studios, where this album was recorded, actually had to take the studio time Phil Spector had reserved, and he was kind enough to let Led Zeppelin come in and spend $1,800 to make their album. that it went on to become one of the biggest rock albums in the history of
That
music.
wasn't SIR Studios, was it?
No, it was Olympic Studios in London. But
Okay.
this is how Phil Spector got his name on Led Zeppelin 1 because of his kindness towards a guy named Glyn Johns, who was one of the engineers on Led Zeppelin 1.
And because of that, we have this platinum record. So all of this now is available, and it's amazing that you actually have hung on to this and are offering it now to the public and for history to continue. So this will be at memorabilia.expert. Check it out, October 24th auction, and that's Al Bowman. And what are the name of the awards?
This is the Los Angeles Music Awards, the Hollywood Fame Awards, and now in Las Vegas we're called the Producer's Choice Honors.
All right, check us out.